Here with Cubs infielder Nick Madrigal. And Nick, first of all, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. I think one of the more impressive things that happened on an individual basis last season was what you did defensively at third base. How much had you played prior to that? It sounded like you hadn't played a lot and your offseason was full of it.
Yeah, so yeah, going into the spring training, they kind of gave me a heads up that their base might be, one of the only spots that maybe I can get some time at. And before that, I hadn't played any third base at all. It was something new to me, so I immediately in the off season, had an idea that that might be the case. So started watching tons of film and just guys around the league, and just tried to study as best I could. And once I got on the field and started taking reps, figuring it out for myself, I started getting more and more comfortable over there. But I mean, it was a work in progress, especially in the beginning. It felt really awkward at first. The footwork, the angles, everything was completely different. So it was completely new to me. But a lot of credit to the staff for helping me along with that.
You talk about the differences, obviously, like going from second base to third base. Just what was the biggest challenge or the biggest change that you had to make to be able to make that adjustment?
I think it's the ball off the bat that the first couple hops and the angles, it's just completely different. Usually in the middle infield, you're able to, see the ball land, kind of read the hops and get, the angle. But at third base, it's a lot faster. You got to make a quick decision. The first step is huge. That's something we really focused on was my pre-pitch before the ball's even hit is being ready to fire out of the first step, so I'm able to get that hop or the short hop or things like that. But it's crazy. It comes down to a split second of, if I'm not down ready to field the ball, I might be late for a step. But it's just a lot of little things that fans don't see behind the scenes. But yeah, I would say that was one of the biggest things, getting my pre-pitch on time for when the ball's hit.
Yeah, 'cause, like, one of those things is even just, like, instead of watching the pitch, you're looking at home plate instead of where you could do that. You could watch the pitcher at second base, you can't do that,
Yeah,
right?
I'd said that in the past. One of the things in the middle infield, you're able to kind of watch the ball go into the zone and kind of read it a little bit better because it's all in front of you, But at third base, it's really you watch the pitcher, he's about to throw, and then you're locked in on, kind of the front of the zone if he's out in front or if it's a lefty, in the back of the zone. So you got to kind of switch up your sights from third base and almost anticipate, if occur. Luckily this year or last couple years, we're able to have the pitch comms in our hat, so we kind of know if there's an off speed, what kind of hitters there. If they're going to be out front. So that helps a lot. But yeah, just different things to focus your sights on at third base.
Two-parter. Any anxiety over that as you're getting ready to start doing it? And then how many hours a day, if it is every day that you're working on it, like how much time do you have to put in on it to not just be a third baseman, but to play third base at the major league level at a high level?
Yeah, I mean, to be completely honest, there's tons of anxiety, especially in the beginning, spring training at the beginning of the year. Just, it helped to get more and more innings under my belt. But I mean, especially in the beginning, I felt still uncomfortable over there. I remember our first couple games in spring training, they wanted to see, how I could do it on my own. So they kind of just threw me out there and just let's see what you got, and then we'll start coaching you. But I didn't know where to stand. I was kind of almost making it up. We went into some different shifts, and I had no idea. So I'm kind of looking at Dansby, looking at my position, just kind of trying to almost wing it. And as I started getting more and more innings, more balls hit to me, I started to settle in a little bit. I felt like the game started slowing down on the defensive side a bit. But I mean, even throughout the year, I mean, I was out there saying prayers, just trying to stay calm. It's just it was so much different, and luckily it went all right out there. But yeah, it's still a work in progress. But I felt like towards the end of the year, I felt more comfortable out there.
And speaking of the end of the year, obviously the injury, in September, how are you feeling right now? Are you kind of where you need to be as far as the off season goes?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. It's getting into the weight room, and I've lifted with the same guy for the last couple of years, Spencer Tatum in Scottsdale, and he's been incredible. We've compared different data and scores from strength training to jumps to everything from this year to last year, and I mean I'm way past where I was last year at the beginning of the year, and just we're able to do so much more. My hamstring's not sensitive anymore. We're able to, explode and do things. And I feel like even towards the end of the offseason last year, I was still feeling it a bit. It was just one of those things. It's going to take a couple years for the hamstring to fully heal. And I feel like, knock on wood, we're past all of it. There's no sensitivity. I'm able to kind of get out of bed and there's no, tightness or anything like that. So, I mean, we're in a really good spot right now.
That has
When
to be a relief, right?
Huge relief. Yeah. I thought, couple years playing on it, and just it being tight and sensitive, I thought maybe it might be this way forever, but going through this off season, I've learned that I'm able to get back to a normal hamstring and just feel normal again, and it's taken a lot of work and different things, from eating different foods to lifting different ways and a lot of information, but we're in a really good spot right now.
Yeah, and it being like something that you've dealt with before, obviously, like makes it. You said like, is this going to be like this forever? But then on the flip side of it, the timing of the injury in September, Cubs are making this run, trying to make the playoffs, and you get hurt and you go down, and ultimately your season's over. Just kind of what's going through your head in that moment, or just throughout that stretch of time where you want to be out there but you can't.
Yeah, it was tough, as that's why you play and train the offseason for exciting baseball like that in the hunt, important games, every pitch counts. And, it's tough, especially mentally. I tried to just stay positive and I was hoping we got into playoffs and maybe I was going to be back that first week or second week. And I was just hoping, but we were playing some really good ball when I went down. I felt good, in the box on defense and just, I mean, it did suck just to not be in there for the team. And, I know this team. We got a good group here. We're looking forward to this year, and hopefully we get right back where we need to be. And yeah, hopefully I'll be in there.
Been asking everybody this. You feel like division champs is something that you're locked in on?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see why not. I think that's you know everything we did last year. We can build off of that. We added a couple guys, and I think this group can do some special things. I know that's not the only goal set on only goal in mind, but I mean it's a good one to start with.
Speaking of adding a couple guys, obviously the Imanaga signing kind of kicked off this week earlier. Two-parter, just what was your reaction? Obviously, when he did sign and seeing his first press conference yesterday, but also like that time in between the council hiring and then Imanaga. Are you someone that kind of gets antsy, just kind of waiting to see what the front office does?
I think it's more just excitement to see guys added to the roster. Because I mean, if we're gonna go where we want to go, it's gonna take everyone, all hands on deck. And that's from the minor leagues to new signings to top to bottom. And we got some great talent added to the roster. I mean, Council is a great manager. So I think it's all coming together. I was watching. The guys we acquired and just more excited about, and just ready to get to spring training. I think it's an exciting time to be a Cubs fan and in the Cubs locker room, and you can see we're building something special over here.
What's your relationship like with Craig Counsell now? I mean, he was on the other side before. He was the arch enemy. He was Darth Vader over there.
Yep. I've spoken to him a couple of times, and he seems like a great guy. I mean, I think everyone knows across the league how much knowledge he has, not only from the coaching side, but when he played. And I mean, he's been around the game forever. He's been on winning teams, and I think everyone knows he has the information, has the experience to take us where we need to go. So everyone's excited over here.
I had talked to Justin, and he said that he was actually like in Arizona working out when the news came that you guys were hiring counsel. What were you doing? What was your reaction when you got that news?
Yeah, I mean, I was a similar thing. I think I was working out also, and someone had told me I didn't even see the news break, and it was. I don't think to be honest, anyone saw it coming. But once the news came out, I think I mean, there's a lot of excitement, to get someone like that, with his degree and just, and again, the knowledge he has in the game, it's exciting to bring him over here. And yeah, so I was excited when I heard it. I almost, didn't see it coming, but, after the news broke, just, you know, excited to talk to him, get to know him better.
Full circle. You learned third base last offseason. So you had this clear goal on your page. Like, this is what I want to do this offseason. What do you want to do individually this offseason? Or what have you been working on specifically that you think will translate to that same type of success in 24?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just getting my body ready to go and to withstand a full season. I think, like I said, I'm feeling the best I've felt. I feel like I'm trying to add strength for later in the season, and just that's one of my main focuses is to keep the strength on throughout the year. So towards the end of the year, my legs are underneath me, and I'm able to run and do different things. But I mean, I'm just focused on getting ready for spring training, trying to do everything I can for this team. I'm not sure what it's going to look like. I mean, there's still tons of a lot of time before spring training, but I'm just focused on trying to get my body ready, and we'll see what happens.
Obviously at a thing like this, at Cubs convention, you get to see this side of the Cubs fan base, and everyone talks about how great Cubs fans are. You guys on the team do it a lot. You have the unique perspective as someone that also played on the other side of town. So I guess my question is just the city itself, Chicago. What does this city become for you? What does it mean to you having spent your whole career on either side of town?
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. I will say it's both sides of it. I mean, it's one of the most special places to play. Wrigley Field, there's a different field. I mean, I remember when I first came over, someone told me, actually, it's Cody Hoyer. He was with the White Sox with me. We were in the same trade, and talking to him, he said, I wasn't playing yet. He said Wrigley Field feels like just the happiest place in the world. When you feel the fans on top of you after a win, singing the song, and just it's such a happy place, and we feel it on the field, in the locker room, and it is a special place. The city of Chicago, you can feel how passionate the fans are for a winning team, and I'm excited to be here, and it's been awesome the last couple of years to stay in Chicago.
Hopefully, it's a happy place a lot this season, and you're a big part of it. Thanks for your time, man. We appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you guys. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Nick.
We all silly like the mayor.